If you feel like you're getting tagged too much in sparring, particularly to the head, this is the perfect episode for you. We're gonna problem solve. All right, of course, easy solution to getting hit in the head less, get better defense. That's a given. That's why I put together that defense course. But some of the beginners out there who are still working on your defense, you might be going, okay, I can only level up my defense so fast, so quickly, but maybe I'm making offensive mistakes, which are leaving me open, and that is what the focus is today. The very first common mistake that many beginners are going to make is not leaving their head between their feet as they throw punches. What they'll do is they'll either lean in and bring their head over top their foot, or they'll get too close and lean back. Either one is going to put our head in a very compromised position, making us more likely to take headshots. When I lean my weight forward, a lot of the times, I'm not going to generate good power anyway, right? If my feet are out here and I'm leaning forward, I'm not generating good power because I have so much weight on my front foot, so I'm not really going to be turning my hips properly. But in addition, now my weak punches are going to be at the perfect distance for receiving power punches. And if I do the opposite, I come to here, I get closer, but I go, oh, I don't want to get hit. Once I lean back here, now I've put the weight on the back foot, and because I've leaned back so far, when I get hit, the impact is going to feel so much worse, right? When you get hit here, you can shift backwards, kind of absorb it. Once you're stretched out and you get hit, it's all head snapping, as opposed to the back giving you a little bit of grace from that impact. Now, all our points today are going to be less obvious things than might be the case if I say, okay, you know, when you throw a punch, your other hand's down. Hopefully you know that. Something else that happens very frequently, but people are not aware of, is they go low kick hunting. They go, I'm gonna light up that thigh. I'm gonna chop away at it. But they don't do one of the two necessary things to keep their head protected. Number one, you get your head off the center line. If you don't get your head off the center line, as I throw my low kick, boom, I'm gonna get hit in the head. Now, yes, if you land with the foot as opposed to the shin, you might be out of punch range, but that's not to say they'll miss the first shot and then close the distance for the second. So you need to be very sure that when you throw your low kick, the head drops off the center line before it returns to the ground and recenters, or you just keep your hands up. That's an option too, or one hand down the middle. So you're blocking them. So when I come to here, any punches that come are just going to deflect off my forearm. Or I just have my hands here and I just keep my hands up. But that is a very common mistake. People think, okay, I'm going to maintain distance. I'm not going to get at this range. I'm going to come outside, land my low kicks, and they don't think about what their hands are doing as they throw that kick. As a result, more head impact. Now let's talk about hand movement. Because as we bounce in front of our opponent, we don't need to have loads of stuff happening. Lots of this kind of stuff. And we will see UFC fighters in particular do that. They're looking to distract, they're looking to set up a takedown, really draw the attention up high, maybe stick a hand out and then slide one up the middle because the gloves are small, and just a little touch sometimes can score a knockdown. But as you do all this, you're constantly creating openings, and you need to be aware of that. Sometimes just keeping your hands up and having them ready to react, as opposed to, okay, now I got to pick the shots off in addition to my own arms moving. This can be a real problem area for some people. So try to play around with, yes, my hands don't need to be locked in place. They don't have to be right here, but they can shift a little, but not too much. Not until you at least get a little bit more advanced that you recognize as my hand comes out to the side, if there is a shot that comes up the middle, I'm gonna have to be extra quick to get back and parry it. Now, many of the fight sports that we're talking about on this channel involve the clinch and throwing knees. And I love seeing beginners get into this zone. It's lots of fun to do, but very often what happens is they get the clinch, they get the person dragged over, and they start firing knees. But look at the distance between my head and their head. What does that mean, that distance? Well, it means that if they start to fire punches, my head is so far away that I'm going to be at that ideal range to get clipped. And I'm trying to launch in my good knees, but I'm getting really distracted by the punches coming and flying at my head. when you get somebody in the clinch, you want to bury your head beside their head. And now from here, as I go to execute my knees, even if I drag them forward, I go to execute my knees, I'm not leaving that head completely exposed. And when I used to be an amateur fighter and people would lock me up in the clinch, I didn't know what to do initially. Nobody had taught me, so I would just start firing shots, trying to get out of it. Fire with fire was basically the style I was using. It's dangerous, but it does work sometimes. So if you're gonna go to the clinch, get that head safe before you start going, oh, I have them locked up. There's nothing to worry about. Yes, there is. Head extra tight so that you are safe. So there, everybody, are 4 tips that will hopefully help you minimize that head impact, stay a little safer in sparring, and feel like, hey, I'm not so much of a punching bag as I was last week before I watched that episode. Let's call it there. I will see you guys back here soon for another episode.